We talked about some of your key programs and initiatives.
We really started with a very comprehensive mission, which was really to do adoptions, to rehome and take in animals and find them wonderful forever homes. We were going to be involved in trap, neuter, release. We were going to do community education and to help people keep their pets and prevent them from surrendering. And lastly, we really wanted to do some fundraising that would help people keep the pets that they already had, and be able to pay for veterinary care and pet deposits. After a few years of doing all of that, it became impossible. We were all exhausted. Everybody who works in rescue knows that it can be overwhelming. And so we really decided to focus on what was the gap in the community. We are very lucky in this area in Orlando and Central Florida to have amazing rescues that do take in animals and rehome them. We have great educators. We have organizations dedicated to trap, neuter, release. And so we really shifted our mission to work on helping keep families together. We all know that our animals are members of our family. And it absolutely broke all of our hearts to see people surrender their animals because they couldn't afford veterinary care. They couldn't afford a pet deposit. They couldn't afford behavioral intervention. So what we've really focused on is keeping animals happy, healthy, and at home with the families that love them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great mission.
Yeah. So we do a lot of, so primarily what we do is fundraising. And so we don't have any, massive overhead of having a shelter and actively feeding animals. I mean, I personally foster myself, but I foster with a different organization because Family Forever is really focused on its unique scope. And so what we've done is we've partnered with veterinary practices around the area, and we give referrals of our clients to them. They give us a little bit of a discount. And as a result of that, we average helping about 60 families a year. And that's just through crowdsourcing of funds.
Yeah, that's huge.
Right?
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. So we're really, really proud of our little organization that could. We're absolutely blown away by the generosity of the community and people who are supportive of our mission. And so we all know how lucky we are to be able to afford to keep our pets happy and healthy. And if someone comes into a situation where they're elderly and on a fixed income, where they have, other family emergencies, and the animal obviously may not be able to take precedence over other demands on their budget, we're able to step in and help where we can. I think the key to what is sort of in the industry referred to as shelter diversion, preventing animals from going into crowded shelters and overburdened rescues, and to try to keep the animal at home. It's really a problem-solving, listening, social work lens that you go through. And oftentimes the gap may not be money. It may be education. And so we're very lucky that I and the people on our board have been doing this for 20 years. And as a result of that, you pick up tips throughout the years. And so one of the typical reasons that someone wants to surrender an animal, especially a cat, is because it's urinating outside of the litter box. That's a common issue. And so the first step in anything like that is to get the cat to the vet to test for a UTI. And that, excuse me, that can be really cost prohibitive for people, because in Central Florida, the average cost of walking into a vet visit is between $60 and $75 just to walk in the door and have an appointment. And then you have to do a urinalysis. They'll want to run blood work. They need to make sure that the animal is up to date on vaccines to be able to treat them, so on and so forth. And so that's a pretty penny for people. So not only do we help with that, but we also help with the behavioral and the educational aspects on the people-facing side to ensure, number one, there are enough litter boxes to make sure the cats like the litter, to be able to step in with some pheromone-based collars that can really help cause anxiety, and to really then focus on what might be the source of, if it is behavioral, what might be the source of the anxiety, and how can we mitigate that. And so I think as much as important and essential as fundraising is, listening to the stories and giving people tools to solve the problem is really part of what we do as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. It's education and awareness go a long ways, and in addition to what we're doing.
Exactly. And so I think, as we look at sort of this broader problem of the cost of veterinary care going up, people's resources being limited, that's kind of a space that I think is really important to step into